Hi everyone, Vlad here for another video. Today's video is going to be about how much are you worth in Dubai, meaning when you carry on a freelancing job or if you work not as a permanent employee in a company. Basically, how much did you charge, what's the duration of a contract should be, what to know in terms of legality, and just overall when you really don't know how much you should charge your client. Well, what should be your parameters, what should be your guideline basically. Because in the past I've hired people for freelancing and also I've freelanced myself, so I know sometimes it can be quite challenging to really know how much you should price yourself, basically literally how much are you worth. So I'll be specifically talking about the events industry, but this can also apply to anything regarding digital marketing or any marketing position, any roles like that. If you want something more specific like engineering, I don't really know the prices there. I mean, you guys know I've been there for quite some time, so I've seen different scales of salaries, different contracts, different what's allowed, what's not allowed. So hopefully this video will kind of help you in your future if you're about to take a job or anything regarding how much you should charge a client. So let's take for instance an example. There's someone you know, a friend of yours, colleague, or anyone that basically wants to hire you for a certain job. First off, always, I mean, I know it's common sense, but obviously agree on the duration of the project. If the project is 3 months, then at least you know from what is your starting date to what is your end date. And typically as a freelancer, you will need to have, especially if you're in UAE, you will need to have a visa. So that I will let you guys know the rules and regulations about that, but depending where you work, whether it's DIP, whether it's TCOM, whether it's Media City, DIFC, this and that, you have different rules regarding visas, and obviously you want to abide by them. So that's for the permits and regulation part. You can't just start working and then kind of play the card, oh, I didn't know. No, but people will come after you and then you will be in trouble for that. So make sure that everything is in order before you take on any job. So now the big question, how much do you charge? Well, obviously when you're a permanent employee, you get all the benefits, right? You get the visa paid by the company, you get the flights home, you get basically your expenses paid in some cases, you get bonuses, this and that. So all of this adds up. So if we take, for instance, let's say you're a permanent employee and you're paid 20,000 dirham a month, but you have all these things included in it. So when you are a freelancer, the shorter the amount of your contract, the more you should be asking for, the more you should be compensated for your services, whether you're a graphic designer, whether you're an event planner, coordinator, whichever it might be. So depending on your years of experience, this number, especially in Dubai and UAE in general, can really fluctuate. You can have people asking for daily work for between 500 dirham upwards of 3,000 dirham per day. And that's just a daily rate. Depending how niche your skills are, depending what projects you've worked on, depending on the client, it can vary a lot. So a good place to start is obviously to ask your client if they have a budget in mind. Typically, from my experience, they will not. So then you're kind of stuck again, like okay, because you don't obviously undersell yourself, and you want to sound like a complete lunatic and ask for 5,000 dirham a day or this and that. So depending on what you really want, if you just want a couple of days a week, if you just want a small contract, then you can ask for a bit more. So you can really work out, let's say you were working for a permanent position when you were making 20,000 dirham a month, that's, let's say, 1,000 dirham a day. If you don't count the weekends, just simple math, 20 days of work during the month, so 1,000 dirham a day. So typically I would advise you to ask between anywhere from 1,300 to 1,500 dirham a day, which would be something that would be in the realm of possibility without you looking like a complete crazy person when asking for this. Obviously, if you take on longer contracts, let's say 6 months, 5 months, all the way down to a month, then you shouldn't be that greedy, and you should probably ask for somewhere, if you were permanent making 20, you should probably ask something like 25,000 dirham a month. Because keep in mind, you don't have any of the benefits, so you should definitely get compensated for a bit more because you have to take on all the other expenses. So Yeah, it's kind of weird. Nobody likes to really talk about money with these things because it can easily be a deal breaker, and it kind of can set things in the wrong way. And obviously, you want to repeat business, so you want to be smart about it. You don't want to ask for the moon right away. You want to really build your contracts, build your confidence with the client, with the project itself. So don't be too greedy. That's my main rule. Know your worth as well. Don't undersell yourself, especially if you have a skill that's very niche. And yeah, I mean, at first when you get offered something, it's obviously because the person wants to work with you. So there's for sure going to be a way where you guys, where the client and yourself can meet in the middle and agree on a certain price. Always keep track of. I mean, I know it's common sense once again, but you'd be surprised how many times this has not really done properly. Always keep track of the days you're working, the hours you're working. If you have to keep all your bills, keep them with you, so at the end of the contract there's no discrepancy and there's no awkward moments between you and the client. So yeah, guys, I felt the need to make this video because I've been getting some questions about permanent job, freelancing, how does it work, is it worth it, is it not? It really depends on what you really want. I mean, the permanent employee lifestyle is nice because you have all these freebies and it's stable. But on the downside, you're not really free, you're stuck on a 9 to 5, you have to come into work all the time. On the other side, freelancing, you make more money, less stable, but at least you're free when the project is done. If the project is bad and you didn't have a good time handling it, then at least you can just let it go and then you can move on to something else. So the ups and downs, up to you guys to decide. And yeah, hopefully this video has been helpful to you guys. If it has, please leave it a like. Make sure to click that bell button so you get all the notification for my future videos. And as you can tell, I bought a new camera so you guys can see my face in HD, which is great or bad, whichever you guys see it. Alright guys, see you guys on the next one. Peace.